week is your career and your life in these times of uncertainty. I am recording this on Sunday, March 15th, 2020. Some of you are listening to it very soon after that. Some of you are listening to it about a week after it. And some of you might be listening or watching this weeks, months, years after this. And like I said on the first episode of the week, I usually keep the topic evergreen and not really refer to what's going on in the world and everyday events, but now is an exception. I'm talking about everyday events because now more than ever, we need to band together as leaders, as world-class leaders, and make sure that we are in a state of certainty, that we are in a state of, we got this. We are in a state of what's possible, even during these uncertain times. And what I'm referring to, by the way, is the coronavirus and wanting to really flatten the curve and wanting to make sure that we are doing everything we can to mitigate the risk here and create a better 2 weeks from now, create a better month from now, so that by April, by May, we are not facing situations where there are not enough hospital beds for the loved ones around us who are going to need those hospital beds. And so we are in a time of uncertainty right now. And that's what I talked about in the last episode, and how to really make sure that you're doing everything that you can to have a plan, to make sure that everyone's cared for, to make sure that you are staying in a place of abundance and gratitude and joy and love, and how to make sure that you focus on what serves you and what ultimately serves others as well. So that's really the core of what I talked about in the last episode, was changing and shifting your focus on what's possible so that you can continue to be an advocate and a leader for others. Today, I want to share a quote with you, and it's actually one of my favorite quotes, and it feels very, very, it's resonating very, very deeply for me right now during this time of unprecedented uncertainty. And it's a Helen Keller quote, and it goes like this: security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do the children of men as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Security is mostly a superstition. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. And I have to say that is very much what my life as an entrepreneur very often feels like. Because if you're an entrepreneur, have entrepreneur friends, family, loved ones, you know that we're always living with a certain sense of uncertainty. Certainly financial uncertainty, but also uncertainty around what's going to happen next with the market, or the way that people respond to our messaging, to the challenges that our clients face, and how we're going to help them. You know, so it's the bigger things, like, you know, where is the next client coming from, and how is everybody going to react to this messaging? But it's also even in the smaller conversations as well. And I know that a lot of you can relate to this feeling of, you know, for me, it's when I'm talking with a client and coaching a client. And for you, you very likely experience this, you know, for example, when you're helping a team member, when you have a one-on-one with a team member, or, you know, there's an email from a team member, or you're having a live video session with a team member, and they say something and they're battling a challenge, and it kind of takes you off guard. You weren't ready for it. Maybe they say that their mom just died. Maybe they say that they're pregnant. maybe they say that they're thinking of quitting and they throw you off guard. And for me, in those moments, there is that moment of uncertainty of I'm not sure what I'm going to say next, but I know I got this. I know I got this because who I am as an advocate, who I am as a leader, who I am as a world-class coach, and I have everything that I need right now in order to support and love that person. And that uncertainty, it kind of fades away. And what it kind of feels like is, all right, I am taking this one sentence, one word at a time. I don't even know. I'm mumbling, stating these words, and I don't know what the next word is going to be, but it comes to me. I have absolute faith, absolute certainty that I know what I'm going to say next. I don't have to have a well-crafted plan about all of the things that I'm going to say, because I'm here having a conversation with this person who needs my help right now. I'm not going to tell that person, oh, well, let me go think about it. Oh, gosh. This is just way too much. Like, would you do that? Right? Like, if, think of one of your most valued team members that you've been working with, forever, and you just have so much rapport with this person. You respect this person so much. You value them, not just as a member of your team, but as a human being. And if that person were to come into your office and say, hey, boss, we need to talk. And they sit down and they say, I just found out that my mom died. Where would you go in that moment? You're not going to go to uncertainty and fear and doubt. You're not going to go to, oh gosh, well, that's just a little bit too much for me right now. I need to think about it. You're not going to do that. You are going to drop into what you know your heart, what you know in your heart is right. And you're going to say something like, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sending you my prayers. I'm sending you my love. What can I do for you to help? And you don't know in that moment, you don't know what you might do to help. But guess what? They're going to tell you through that conversation. Yes. Is there uncertainty in that conversation? Of course, there's uncertainty for your team member about what's going to happen now in terms of work, in terms of what they have to do for mom and the family, what they're going to do to grieve, what that's going to look like. There's uncertainty for that person. There's also uncertainty for you. Because while you have an amazing amount of rapport with this person, you may have never dealt with this kind of challenge with this person before. Maybe you've dealt with it with others, but not exactly with this person. And yes, there's uncertainty around work. Are you going to give this person some time off? And what is that going to mean in terms of the ripple effects of getting things done? But then there's also uncertainty around this person's emotional and mental state. What are you going to do in order to support them? You don't need to answer all of those questions right now in that moment. All you need to do, and the reason that you're not going to let fear and doubt just completely crush you in that moment, is because of love. It's because in that moment, you can't do anything but love that person and be there for that person as a fellow human being. Life is a daring adventure or nothing. Every moment we are presented with opportunities to express our courage, to express our love, to express our strength. Every single moment in life we get to do that. It's heightened. A bigger light is shined on it during times like this with the coronavirus. A bigger light is shined on it. Oh, wow, yeah. Life really is a daring adventure, isn't it? But what it actually does get us to remind ourselves of as well is that life is always a daring adventure. Sometimes it just feels a little bit more daring than others. Any moment that you felt scared, any moment that you felt fear, any moment that you felt uncertainty, guess what you were able to access? Love and courage. Because you're still here, you're still standing, you're still living, you're still thriving. So if you, at any point in your life, raise your hand if you've ever felt uncertain. Raise your hand if you've ever felt fear. Raise your hand if you've ever felt doubt. Raise your hand if you've ever felt in danger. Guess what? You are a courageous, loving human being because you're still here and you're still standing. You have everything that you need right now in order to conquer the current challenges, in order to embrace them, to turn that fear into excitement, because fear is simply the jagged edge of excitement. That's all it is. It's a similar feeling. Sometimes people refer to it as it's a similar frequency. It's a similar vibration of that fear. You could say I'm scared, but you can also say I'm excited. And the feeling is extremely, extremely similar. Almost, I would say, the same. To embrace that fear. The meaning that I give fear, when I feel fear, I say, wow, I'm excited because that means something amazing is about to happen. Because every single time in my life, without question, there are no exceptions here. Every single time in my life when I felt fear, something amazing happened after that. Sometimes it was right after. Sometimes it was days or weeks after, but there was something amazing that came out of it. Sometimes it was multiple amazing things. I was scared when I was giving birth to my son because I was in a lot of pain. But guess what? Something amazing absolutely came out of that. I was scared when I launched this business. Something extremely amazing came out of that as well. And it's even in the smaller things too. I was scared before I went down the super steep, we were at the water park, the super steep water slide. Scared out of my mind. But guess what? I went down that water slide and it was amazing. So think of all the times in your life when you felt fear or doubt or uncertainty or danger and you didn't run away from it. You conquered it. You powered through it like the leader who you are. And honor that courageous human being. That's what you access right now. And the best way to turn that fear into excitement, especially in these times of uncertainty, is to focus on loving others. Because when you know you have the opportunity to help someone else, all bets are off in terms of trying to think logically, right? Like that team member, my mom just died, right? You're not going to go into the logical part of your brain and be like, okay, logically, what should I say right now? I'm not sure the best thing to say. You're just going to show love. That's what you want to access right now. Access that courage, access that love, and that's how you embrace the uncertainty. Because life is a daring adventure, or it's nothing. You're living a daringly adventurous life right now. Embrace it. See the opportunity in it. And now more than ever, we are here to help you do that, because we get that you can get stuck in your own head. We get that maybe you have not completely conditioned the beliefs and the identity that you need to yet in order to fully thrive during these times of unprecedented uncertainty. We get that. And so we're here to help you do that. Our team is here, thepeoplestack.com/book. Let's talk about what's going on in your career right now. Let's talk about what's going on at work right now, or what's not going on at work right now. You know, some people, I know it's crazy pants time and you're just running around trying to figure out what's going on and the kids are home and how do I lead a remote team? We know for some of you it's like that, but for some of you it may actually be eerily quiet. And you may feel bored. You may feel increasingly socially isolated. How do you deal with all of it? So that you can continue to be the leader who you're meant to be, so that you can continue to make the impact on the tech industry that you know you're meant to have. Because if you have this going on right now with the uncertainty around the virus, if you have that and then you stack it on top of all the other stuff that was already going on in your life and your career in terms of being underpaid, overworked, underappreciated, you stack this on top of it, that's a recipe for disaster if you don't seek help. And we don't want to see disaster happen. So that's also why now is the perfect time to book a call with us, so you can finally get your career in order, so that you can build that dream career for yourself, and more importantly, for your family, for your loved ones, for your team. Again, the link is thepeoplestack.com/book. I will again leave you with Helen Keller's quote: "Security is mostly a superstition." We can create security. We can mitigate risk. We can do what we can in order to create more certainty. But at the end of the day, you're the one who has to create it. Security doesn't really exist. It's mostly a superstition. What we have control over is our thoughts, our feelings, our identity, our actions. And that's how we get to create that sense of certainty, create that sense of abundance. But it's only from a place of love and courage that you can do that. You have to be able to access that in order to create those amazing victories, amazing impact for yourself and others. So ask yourself how you can do that today. How can you stand up and access courage? How can you stand up and access love and operate from that place? That is how you embrace the daring adventure that life is. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. That's a wrap.